Hi, it's Louise, and it's Saturday night in Europe. So it's been a little bit of a challenging day for me. I've been wanting to post all day, and I was sort of torn with what to post really, because I had some really great ideas about things to sort of help people along the way and give them some sort of insights into some things. And it just kept coming back, that really it felt right to just talk about it being World Suicide Prevention Day. And I know there are people out there that's probably sitting there going, oh my God, I don't want to listen to this. I want to be upbeat and motivated, etc., etc. And this is why I was a bit torn, because I've been looking at some feeds today from some people that I follow and I admire, and they're so upbeat and they're so like, yeah, let's go for it and let's get on with this and let's get on with that. And as much as I want to do a feed like that today, I just feel I can't, because it is a day that we're recognising that we need to raise awareness for something so important. It's so important, but I'm sort of torn because I feel it's such a shame that we have to have a day to raise awareness for a condition where people are choosing to kill themselves, that they're choosing to take death rather than live in pain and live another day in pain. And because this is an area so close to my heart, I mean, I specialise in depression. I specialise in supporting people to move through depression. I felt that it would be actually not genuine if I didn't do a post on this today. So forgive me if this isn't a cheery subject for a Saturday night or a Saturday day, no matter where you are in the world. But I feel I have to just express my views. And, the fact remains that every 40 seconds, somebody is choosing death over surviving. Somebody's choosing to take their life. Now, to put that into context, by the time you've listened to this video, that means that 8 people will have chosen to take their life. And I think that's a staggering number. And you know what, when you think about statistics, actually suggest that the majority of people who take their life through suicide are actually suffering from depression. And we know that the majority of depression is caused by people not being able to resolve or handle a shock or a trauma from the past. So you've got a situation where people have been in a situation where they've been traumatized through events in their past. They're having to deal with it in their life. They're not being able to deal with it. They choose, therefore, to take their life. And it's like this... it's like a double whammy. They've had a situation they haven't been able to deal with. They're having a life full of torment that they can't deal with. They then take their life, and then they get the stigmatization of the fact that they were weak and they were selfish. Because, let's look at it. A logical explanation for somebody who isn't challenged by the torment of a low self-esteem or the shame or the paranoia or the anger that they feel, or even that sort of debilitating feeling of loneliness that actually just rips through the centre of every part of you, well, their justification would be that it's selfish. You hear them sort of say, just think of the kids. What about the kids? The wife, the husband, the mother, the father, the friends. Well, the fact remains, these people have been thinking about everybody else. The very fact that they chose to take their life was because they believed that everybody else was going to be better off without them. That by taking their life, that the torment that they were causing other people would stop. So far from it being a selfish act, it's one of the most selfless acts that they take, because they have been putting everybody else first. And, a person chooses to take their life for many reasons, but it is not because they're weak. It is not because they couldn't cope. It's not because they want attention. And, You know, the World Health Organization actually gave a statistic recently that 350 million people, to what they know of, are suffering from the symptoms of depression. Now, to put that into context, just to give you the size of that, that is the population of America and the population of Australia together. That's how many people are suffering from depression. And like I say, that's how many people they know about. And I just think, and depression is actually the second largest cause of death for people between 12 and 29. Now, doesn't this suggest that there's something wrong? Or not wrong, because there is nothing wrong, but doesn't it suggest that there's something that needs to be addressed here, that we need to start taking a different approach to all of this? You know, I don't know. It's just, it really, I was looking through some of the feeds and I was reading some of the newspaper things today, and it just strikes me as really unfair that we still have a stigma around depression and suicide. Because, you know, people talk about people with depression or, you know, suicidal tendencies, that, you know, get over yourself, you know, snap out of it. You've got so much to be grateful for, or stop being so depressed. But, you know, that's akin to actually saying to somebody with cancer, stop focusing on your growth. Stop moaning about the growth you've got in your body. And, you know, like, you wouldn't go to a paraplegic person and tell them to get over themselves and get out the chair and start walking around, would you? So why are we treating people who have depression with so much shame and scorn? It's just so out of my comprehension why we do that. And when I was looking, doing some research for my book, I was looking at the amount of teenagers who are taking serious amounts of overdoses or sort of tablets and things like that. And then they're saying that they're so scared of going to the A&E, or so scared about telling somebody about it because of the stigma that's going to be attached, that they do talk about it. So not only have they got an environment where they can't talk about it, and that's what's causing them to be holding the symptoms of depression in themselves anyway, then they get to the point where they have had enough, they can't cope any longer, they try to do it, and then they don't go and seek help because the stigma of actually what they're going to be labelled afterwards. It's just absolutely ridiculous. Now, the motto for today, the World Suicide Prevention Day, is connect, communicate, care. And I believe, you know, we won't have to have a day where we're raising awareness for people's suffering if we connect with people on a real, true basis. Start really connecting heart to heart with their soul. If we start communicating and enabling and allowing people to communicate how they really feel, not how they think people are going to expect them to feel. To really communicate with people, not just talk at them. And to show people that they care, that they're wanted and that they're loved in somebody else's life. Because the fact remains, people who are suffering from depression, people who are going through suicidal tendencies, don't feel connected. They don't feel that they can communicate, and they certainly don't feel like anybody cares whether they live or die. That's why they're in that situation. So the more we can actually get together, and the more as a community and a society and as a human race we can start connecting and showing real care for people, then I don't think we're going to have these days where we're having to raise awareness on one day a year for this condition. And so I just would like to sort of say to people, we all have a part in stopping the stigma in depression and suicide. We all have a part to play, and I'm as guilty as anybody else. You know, but fortunately I do have an understanding of how it feels. I have been through depression. I know how it feels. So if you are listening to this, if you are watching this and you are suffering from depression and you're feeling suicidal, please know that there are people out there to help you. Just please reach out to people and seek that help, whether it's your friends, your family, or even professional bodies like Samaritans. And if you haven't, at any stage in your life, felt in a depressed state or suicidal, then I just hope that just by watching this, you will start, even if it just starts you thinking slightly different, that you don't judge or perceive people in a way that you may not understand. And I think when we can all come together and start working with this as a collective, then, you know, the shame and the scorn that people who have depression often feel, and those people who are suicidal often feel, maybe that will be a day that they don't feel that they feel the love and connection from everybody. So on that note, I'm going to wish you all a lovely day. And that's it really. So have a lovely day. Take care.